Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Living Free Joyfully. I am your host, Kim, and thank you so much for tuning in today. If this is your first time tuning in, here we discuss faith, fun, fitness, finances, and of course, love. So, thank you for tuning in. And today I want to discuss love or courtship and dating and mindset changes and all those good things. So, thank you. So, let's start with a short story time about me and my dating experience. So, I had a boyfriend for about 5 years, right? It didn't end great. But after that, I took a little time to find myself to heal, right? And when I say little time, I mean 6 years. I took 6 years and I didn't date. I didn't do anything. I barely talked to men. And one day I was looking at myself and my life and I was like, this isn't what I want, right? I don't want to be alone for the rest of my life. I want to be married. So around 2018-ish, beginning of 2019, I started dating. And when I mean started dating, I don't mean having relationships. I mean dating. I mean going out with people, gathering information, deciding they weren't it, and doing that over and over and over and over. And it was fun. I had a really, really good time just not dating seriously, not really courting. I was just, getting my feet wet, talking to men, getting my stamina up, I guess, of how to talk to men, how to be around a man, how to allow a man to treat me, what I want, what I don't want. And so during that period, I did that for about 2 years. Yeah, so that brings me to like what, 20, like late 2020, early 2021. And so I decided, this is great. I built up my confidence because I didn't feel like I could attract a man. I didn't feel like I would attract the man that I want, right? I learned how to define what I wanted, how to speak it, how to communicate it, all these things that happened during this process of those 2 years while I was just, having fun, meeting good men, but not necessarily the men for me. Tall men, short men, fat men, skinny men, all the men, just, experimenting with being open, deciding I can't be that open, all of these things I was doing while I was dating. And so about March of this year, so that brings us to 2021, I decided that I need help, right? Because I'm just tired of dating, right? I don't want to just date. I want it to progress into a courtship, into a relationship, into marriage. And so I decided to hire a dating coach. And this dating coach is, her name is Tora Sense, if you've ever heard of her. And she is a dating coach for high achieving women of faith, right? So it's a specific type of woman that she coaches. And when I joined this coaching program, this dating coach program, I was like, it's going to lead me to the love of my life, to the man I want. It's going to help me find this person, and then we'll be happily together, la-di-da-di-da. But what it really, really did is help me to change my mindset. One, to fall more in love with myself. And then two, to fall more in love with God. And so it also introduced me to this concept of a group of like-minded women, right? These women who are around you, who want the same thing as you, who believe the same thing as you, who are as encouraging as any people you can meet, because we all have the same goal, right? At first, we were all in there, let's find a man. So the course was 12 weeks, 8 weeks of learning, 4 weeks of implementation. And we were, and we met weekly, twice a week. And what we did was she had these, things we would do every week. We would come together, we would discuss our progress, our lack of progress. And what happening was in the group, instead of me trying to find this man, I started to find myself. I started to see who I really am, what I really deserve, what I truly wanted. And not only could I see it, I could define it. I can communicate it, and I can write it out. Write the vision, make it plain. I can actually do that now. And before, I could see myself being married, right? I could see myself as the bride. I could see myself with the man. I could see myself with the, the kids and stuff. But now I can actually envision my day-to-day life as a wife, as in a healthy marriage, in a marriage where we celebrate our joys, where we communicate when we're having trouble, right? And I learned all of this not just because of her program, but because of the women that I was surrounded with, right? These women who are still to this day, even though the program is over, still encouraging me, still reach out to me, and I reach out to them. We still are in community, and we are still saying, hey, you don't deserve this. You deserve better. You are the prize. You have clearly defined what you want. Is this aligning with the desires God has placed in your heart? Is this aligning with what God says you are, with who God says you are, with what God has for you? And if not, then boom, bam, bye, right? And since then, I have dated, but not as much, right? I have dated, and they have been really extraordinary men, right? And they have been really good men of God. And when I say men of God, I mean someone who knows the Bible, someone who professes Jesus as their Lord and Savior, someone who not only knows the Bible, but practices it, lives it out practically, and someone who knows who they are in God. And so because of that program, I can specifically define the things that I want, right? The things that I know I need in order to feel love. And if I'm not feeling those things, if I'm not receiving those things, if we're not clearly communicating and progressing towards something that I want, then I'm more able to say, hey, we're just not aligning. I am so happy that I got to meet you. You brought so much value to my life. And then I move on. But the thing is, I haven't really dated like I was before. And I think that's for a purpose, right? I think that I don't need to do all that, like grab the whole field kind of thing and then filter through. So what I'm doing now is being more selective in my yes. And so that's what I really want to talk to you about today. Having the vision. Can you really see your day-to-day life with this person that you want to marry? If you desire marriage, or if you desire anything in life, can you actually see yourself doing it? And are you willing to take the time in order to achieve that thing? Because a lot of us, like especially Christian women, right, we're taught basically to aspire to marriage. Like, this is what you should want. But we weren't taught how to wait. We weren't taught how to approach men. We weren't taught how to communicate with men so that we could keep them once we get them, right? And then we're wondering why divorce rate is so high. We're wondering why so many women are still single and not really even dating or courting, or whatever you want to do it. I use dating and courting interchangeably. I mean, God's going to send me a man, right? And I can't do it just sitting in the house. So now I'm very much open to dating and whoever God has for me. And what I have learned through the process of this, and I'm not advocating that you get a dating coach. I'm not advocating that you do any of the things that I'm doing. But what I am advocating for is you to take an honest look at your life, to take an honest look at what you are doing. And is it achieving the goal? Is it getting you to the promise that God has for you, right? Whatever it is, business, love, finances, faith, fitness, fun, whatever, is what you are currently doing getting you closer to that promise? And if the answer is no, you're going to have to reevaluate and make some changes. You're going to change your mindset about some of the things that God has promised you, some of the things you have been taught. You're going to have to unlearn, and you're going to have to be willing to do something different. You're going to have to be willing to see yourself in a different situation so you can get that promise. And so I'm asking you, who do you actually see yourself as a living, everyday, breathing wife, with waking up beside your husband, gotta eat breakfast, gotta, eat lunch, gotta go to work, all these things? Can you actually envision that for yourself? And what does it look like to you? What do you need to feel? What do you need to receive from that other person in order to feel loved, right? These things aren't easy questions. These aren't something you can just pop off at the mouth with, right? Off the top of your head, maybe a few things. But I had to sit down and list 25 things that I need in order to make me feel loved, right? And then not only know them, but be able to communicate them when it is lacking, right? And not to just dismiss somebody because that thing is lacking, to actually communicate and say, are you even capable of giving me this? Because if I don't communicate it correctly or even communicate it at all, how will they know to give that to me? They might have the capability or the ability to do that thing or to give me that thing that I need, but am I really communicating it? Am I really telling them that I need this thing in order to feel love? And then if it's lacking, am I giving them a chance? Am I gracing them to allow them to fix the problem, or am I cutting it off, right? Am I saying, no? And so we have to know what we need. We have to know what we want in order to attract that thing, right? In order for it to come to us, in order for God to give us the promise, we have to know somewhat what it looks like. We have to see the vision that He's given us. We have to be able to pursue it. We have to be able to make it plain. And I think that was my problem. I could not make it plain, right? I could not specifically describe the man of God that I wanted. I know I wanted a man of God. Cool. Does that mean he goes to church all the time? Does that mean he doesn't go to church? Does that mean he, was saved, but he now kind of out there? Or that means he's super saved, the super Christian who don't do nothing? Like, what does that mean to you? I know what it means to me now. I know what I want now. And I know that because I have specifically tailored my prayers, right? The fervent and effectual prayers of the righteous availeth much, right? We got the fervent down. We are passionate, right? But the effectual part, are we praying specifically towards that goal? Are we asking God for the thing that we really want? And then when He tells us yes, no, or wait, are we willing to digest that answer and adjust accordingly? And so that's what that program taught me, to really wait on God, to really trust Him in His timing, to really say, hey, I am willing to be out here. I'm willing to wait, right? I'm willing to be in the unknown. And when I say wait, I don't mean not date. I don't mean not seek the company of men. What I'm saying is I'm willing to wait on the right person for me, right? I'm willing to wait on the promise. I'm not willing to settle, right? And I've changed my mind. Instead of saying I don't want this, I am saying I do want this, right? So there's a difference, right? Your mind doesn't hear the don't. They don't hear the contraction. They don't hear the not. It doesn't hear the not. It hears the thing, right? So I don't want a smoker, right? Okay, your mind hears smoker, right? Okay, so now I'm changing my mindset. I'm changing my language, which has power. I'm speaking out more over myself, over my future marriage, over my husband, over my future children. I'm just not deciding this thing for me. I'm choosing a partner who's going to create a legacy with me, who's going to father my children, who's going to build community with me, who's going to want to build generational wealth. Like, it's just not about me. And I know I've said that before, but it's really not about us. This love thing is really, really about other people in our lives, right? And I really encourage you to get you some people around you to encourage you, to support you, to support what you want, and articulate your needs, even in those situations, right? And what it really also taught me, this program, is that friendships are important, right? Relationships with men that aren't romantic are important, right? Like, how do you have people that you can lean on? Do you have people that you can call and communicate with? Do you have people who will be there for you if you need them, right? This is really important. Are you just trying to get married, or are you trying to build a community? And neither one is wrong, right? I'm not telling you that you have to want all these big lofty goals, but what I am asking you is to really consider what you really want and be able to communicate it plainly, like to a 7-year-old. You got to be able to explain it. You got to be able to explain it, because if you can't explain it, how are you then going to be able to tell this person who God is sending you, this is how I need to feel loved. This is what I need in order for our relationship to continue to progress, right? Do you know what you even value? Do you know what you want in life in general? Right? These are questions I had to sit down and ask myself, because, you sit down and say, yeah, I know But do you really? Are you able to write them down? Are you able to explain it once it's written down? Are you able to articulate it and remember it in the time when you need to be able to remember and articulate it? Like, I'll give you a quick example. I went on a date with a guy. We met at this restaurant. I parked one place, he parked another. He did not walk me to my car at the end of the night, and I felt some type of way. And I couldn't really articulate it at the time because all I knew was I felt a type of way. So when I went home, I sat down and I was like, what about this why am I feeling some type of way? It was because when I sat down and I thought about it, once I got home, I didn't feel protected, right? I'm alone at night, even though the cars are maybe, I don't know, 20 feet apart. I don't know measurements, but it weren't, it's like he could see me, get into my car, but it's like, I'm a woman alone at night in a not well lit area, which I should have parked under a light. That was my fault, part of it. But also, why didn't you walk me to my car? And also, why didn't I communicate that in the moment, right? All I knew was I felt some type of way, like, right? So now I'm better able, and this takes time, right? It takes practice. This is something that I wasn't taught really growing up. This is something that I haven't been doing. And it not only has it helped me in like romantic relationships, but in platonic relationships. Right? In relationships with other men in my life, or in relationships with my parents and my sisters and friends, like, hey, I expected this of you and this does not happen. Like let's talk about it, right? And so it has helped all of my relationships grow. My relationship with God too, because it's like, hey, God, I'm praying to you for this thing and I want to hear your answer and I want to do what your will is for my life because I know it's good, pleasing, and perfect, right? But on the other hand, you got to tell me something like, what are you expecting of me? I know you expect me to worship you. I know you expect me to serve you. I know you expect me to do these things. And I'm not serving you to get this reward or get something in return. But can I come to you, God, and just be truthful and honest and open, right? Can I be vulnerable with God? And it has helped me tremendously in my prayer life to be effectual, to be who God has called me to be. Help me to be me, right? And so this love thing, and I know we all get butterflies and feel all types of like romance when the guy is fine and he's smelling good, or the girl look good and she's got good teeth. I don't know what you like, but we get all these butterflies and these other kind of emotions going on. But when we need to lean on God's prudence, on his wisdom, on his discernment, are we able to do that? Especially when it comes to who we are going to marry. Especially when it comes to who we should say yes to in the courtship dating process, right? There's some people you can eliminate off the bat. He ain't got no teeth. Sir, what? No. Oh, he doesn't have a job. No, thank you. Oh, he doesn't have a car. Oh, okay, well, you gonna walk everywhere? What you gonna do? Like there's some things you just off the bat, you don't even really got to pray for. You just know, you better than that. You deserve more than that. But are you willing to put all that down, make the vision plain, change your mindset, and are you willing to wait? Are you willing to be comfortable with the unknown, knowing that you don't know the time, you don't know the place, but you know it's coming? Are you comfortable with doing that? And so at this juncture in my life, I am very willing to wait on the Lord. I'm very willing to be uncomfortable knowing, or uncomfortable in the unknown, right? I'm trying to be comfortable in the unknown, but I'm willing to be uncomfortable, right? I'm willing to feel certain emotions, right? I'm willing to be frustrated. I'm willing to be, upset, because I know that it's not forever. I'm willing to go through certain things because I know on the other side of those things, there is a promise, there is a purpose, there is a greater. So are you willing to go through that for love, for the love of your friends, parents, family, a significant other, or spouse, whoever? What are you willing to do in order to receive the promise? So I'm going to come back because we're talking about love, right? And that's one of the things that we always talk about. But I'm going to come back and share more in depth what I am really going through. I am dating, but I'm also not chasing. So we're going to talk about more about that, and just be willing to do what God has called you to do, be who God's called you to be, and make sure you are living free, joyfully. Like, we don't have to be all sad and stuck up and all that stuff. We can just be fun, and we can be free, and we can live with joy. All right, so if you stuck around this long, thank you. And I love you all. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you next time.